Hi, and welcome back to Pushbox Banter. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Craig. And today we're going to be talking about F1 and all that implies.
Yep.
So, Miami.
Welcome to Miami,
Yes.
the Magic
Yes.
City.
It is. Yeah, that is what they call it. The Magic City.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun facts and fun things about Miami.
Yes.
I mean, all sorts of stuff. Like you've got, it was founded by Julia Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the first, it's like the only woman that's founded like one of the major cities in the U.S., which is pretty cool.
What a girl boss.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, she really was. She was ahead of her time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff though. Like Miami has the largest Art Deco collection.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really a collection, but it's like a whole district of architecture and everything that's down there. It's really pretty cool. South Beach area.
That's right.
You got the beaches, beautiful beaches.
Beautiful beaches, beautiful people.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know they have the highest ratio of plastic surgeons to people? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That
It's
kind of
true.
makes sense.
Yeah, you can get Brazilian butt lifts,
Yeah.
rhinoplasties,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Augmentation.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the capital of plastic surgery in the U.S.
Really?
Mhm.
I always thought LA was actually.
You would think,
Yeah,
probably
I
it's
did.
probably runner up,
Yeah.
but it's it's all about looks and stuff like that.
It makes sense though. I mean, because you've got the whole like Eastern Seaboard. That's where
That's
a lot
right.
of people like to go and retire.
That's
as they
right.
age and everything. So
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
But there's also inventions that are very super Miami. For example, did you know that copper tone or like suntan lotion was invented in Miami?
That's awesome.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
Magnetic eyelashes. Again.
What? Magnetic?
Yes. Yes. There's little magnets you put on your eyelashes. You put
Uh-huh.
them on, and then you be looking like.
I always
Good.
wondered how eyelash, fake eyelashes, how they worked and everything. I've
Yeah,
never really looked. I always thought it was like some sort of glue or something.
I think it's mostly glue. I
Yeah.
think people glue that stuff on, or there's like adhesive, and then they like put them on
Yeah.
their eyes,
Gosh.
and then they do like one of these numbers. But
Yeah.
now there's magnets, so you can put them magnetically.
Interesting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
They also have rosé colored pineapple or rosé pineapple.
Really?
Yes. When we just had some pineapple, but they make some specifically for pretty drinks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Del Monte or fresh Del Monte, I guess, spent like 15, 16 years developing this pinkish rosé pineapple.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can get it delivered anywhere in the U.S. except Hawaii. Isn't that
Nice.
crazy?
Yeah, that is.
That's like fact.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Miami flag.
Okay.
Now, have you ever seen it?
I have, but I don't remember it. I've been to Miami before, but it was years ago.
Like on a scale of like a really cool looking flag, like when you think about cities in the U.S., and if you rank them and if you ask Google to rank them, Chicago, my hometown, is actually one of the coolest flags with the sky blue, the white, and then the stars in the center. This one is actually a replica of the Indian flag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Where
cool.
it's like, well, I don't know that it's cool. And there's nothing wrong with the Indian flag, but it actually has little to do with, you would think like, oh, okay, maybe it's like an Indian sister city or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same flag with orange and green, orange, green, white, and then like a center crest.
Okay.
And I think it's like a palm tree or something like that.
Okay.
Pretty much it. Like
okay.
it's not the most exciting flag.
Miami's a pretty cool place, though. Like, you've got a lot of culture that's there. And, one of the things with the culture is, and we saw this in last year's Miami Vice a little bit with all the pastels and everything.
Right,
And you see that a lot, like if you go down to the South Beach area, the Arctica, you see a lot of those colors. But one of the big shows that made this famous was Miami Vice back in the 80s.
Right.
And so in Miami Vice, they had they always had a Ferrari. So the first couple of seasons they had a Ferrari that they were driving, but it was I mean, it was actually like one of the things that they would do is they actually had like a different vehicle, and they would basically make it look like a Ferrari. Well,
wow.
so Ferrari hears about this, obviously, and they file a lawsuit.
I had no idea.
Yes. So the producers of Miami Vice are like, hey, we don't want to have a lawsuit on our hands. And Ferrari comes to them and says, hey, you stopped doing this with a fake car, but use 2 of our cars. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll do that. So they sent them 2 Ferrari Testarossas.
Nice.
Now, they were black Testarossas, but in the show, they were white. So this is where things get a little unclear. But somewhere along the line, there's some rumors that they think that John Johnson, who is like one of the main actors, that he damaged the paint job, and so they painted it white. But then others were saying, oh, well, we painted it white because the night shots, it just looked way better.
Right.
Just don't really know the truth on that. So, yeah, but pretty cool. But these Testarossas, they had both of them, and then they've kept them. They're still like, they're still around. They tried to auction one off a couple of years ago. And then they're still owned and everything. They're taken care of, but they're white Testarossas with tan interior, and that's what they drove around. But it gave great recognition for Ferrari. Like they, not only were they on a really, a popular cultural show at the time, but also like they end up being in different gaming shows or games, video games and different things like that.
Yeah.
She always saw, like, I always remember like Magnum PI, they always had a Ferrari.
Right.
This was like the era, like the 80s, for some reason, they always had some vehicle that they were advertising.
Right.
But this particular Ferrari Testarossa was pretty awesome. It's, yeah.
It's a really good fact there.
Yeah, so it was the cocaine white is what they painted it. Cocaine
That's
white
appropriate.
Ferrari. Yes.
So appropriate.
I'm not sure if that's the official color, but yeah.
Well, it is a magic city, right? And
Yes.
it does have its stars. So let's talk about some of the famous Miamians.
Okay.
Do you know any?
I haven't met any of the famous Miamians, actually. Yeah.
Well, there is Gloria Stefan.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
and
I would
also,
guess
mind
about
you, a
her.
lot of these people are probably born other places, but mostly raised.
But
and
that's where they
call home.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
She's pretty famous for Miami too, like her song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gloria Stefan, Enrique Iglesias.
Yes.
Very famous Miamian.
When I was in Miami, we did a boat tour and we actually went by his house.
No way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That isn't why I did the boat tour, but it's just,
You're like, this guy.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac.
Okay.
So if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yes. It's awesome.
Mr. International, Pitbull.
Yes.
You were like,
he's an F1
007.
fan.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's performed at Coda last year, I think.
Yeah. This other rapper, Lil Pump. And then, of course, we have some F1 drivers that call it their second home. Leclerc owns a condo there.
Oh, that's cool.
And Sergio Perez recently bought a multi-million-dollar mansion over there. Yeah. So
Rumors
cool
he's
things.
going to join
rumors,
Cadillac.
rumors he's trying to be closer to home camp, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully he gets a drive with Cadillac. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But do you have anything on the track?
The track itself, it's it's a road circuit, so it's right around Hard Rock Stadium. It goes over a bunch of bridges, or has a bunch of bridges.
It's in a car park.
It's in a car park. Yeah, they turned it into a road. There's usually a ton of celebrities that show up to this race.
Right.
So yeah. It's a 3-year-old race. It's going to be his 4th year.
It's exciting. Well, we're happy to be here. And so let's talk about the race.
Okay, let's do it. So, Miami, we've got liveries, helmets,
a bunch of cool stuff,
and Legos.
Yeah. So let's
They're
talk.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the liveries and the helmets. So we knew Ferrari would come out with something that would be pretty cool. And
let's scale that back just a second. We knew Ferrari was going to come out with a livery. We all hoped it would be pretty cool.
Exactly. So it came out looking like, what did you say earlier?
Well, it looked like kind of like a printer that ran out of ink halfway through.
Right. Just like a typical HP, allegedly.
Yeah. So like the half of the car was red, half of the car was like the HP blue and white.
Exactly.
And it just like cut right in the middle.
Yeah, really
But
strange.
that was the only thing. Is like, okay, it basically looked like HP just paid more for a sponsorship to get a bigger piece of their car.
Exactly.
Where I was hoping that it was going to be something cool. Like there were rumors that there were going to be like autographs or some notes from fans that were put on there, which would have been pretty sweet. But that didn't happen.
We got what we got.
We got what we got. So last year it was like baby blue outfits. This year it was like, the HP color, like your normal blue.
I think Leclerc did have a baby blue helmet. So
yeah.
There was that. Speaking of helmets, Norris had a disco ball.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
It was cool, but I feel like that was maybe it should have been more for like Vegas or something. Like
possibly, but he's also kind of known as a party guy.
He is
a little bit. And this year last time was his first win in Miami, and then, but he also like I think was it right before Miami where he like fell and cut his nose, or he did something.
That's
and
right.
He had like a Band-Aid on his nose, and it was from something that he did at a club or something like that. So. I don't know.
I think the bottle
cool.
shattered or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I think the story was doctored a little bit. But who knows, really?
Yeah.
So he had a special one. Antonelli did as well. It was the first time that Antonelli has had a special helmet.
Describe his helmet.
It was a helmet, and it had these colors on it.
Oh, okay.
That were special for him. It was outside of the norm. No, I think that the colors on it were more like the Mercedes team had like these like purplish, pinkish type shades.
Yeah, it was very Miami.
So it was pretty Miami-ish.
I think their outfits had like palm trees and
they
things
did.
like that. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they had like there's some commercials out there with an AMG with Toto Wolff driving it, and he has a guy jumping over the door.
That's right.
On a skateboard, and then he like peels out, does a donut and everything.
I don't know if you noticed, Toto was actually wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah, it was Casual Toto Day, or Casual Toto weekend. Actually,
that was really cool. I was like, oh my god, is this the first time he doesn't have his white shirt?
I know, with no white shirt.
Yeah,
I always wonder if he has like suspenders that he's like hanging on to in case he needs to wear them or something.
Possibly.
Not that he needs to wear them, but like emotionally needs to wear them. Yeah.
Albon had a Florida orange on his helmet.
Yeah.
Or his helmet was the Florida orange.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
V-Carb they were embracing their inner Barbie.
Yes. This is so confusing.
I know. I feel like that's all last year.
Yeah, it is. Like I was like, what? Okay, the actual livery themselves, it looked pretty smooth.
Yeah, it looked
right.
Good. It looked good.
The way everything looked cool on the car, but then like the advertising where they're embracing their inner Barbie, I was like, what does this mean? Like, are they going to drive really soft or something, or is it going to be like they're going to drive real cute or?
Who knows?
Or beautiful driving.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't understand that. It was confusing to me.
Yeah,
that's just me.
I don't know either. My favorite was actually the Sauber paint splatter.
It was pretty cool. I did notice that.
Did it remind you of anything?
It probably should have, and once you say it, it's probably going to come to mind.
Well,
what did it remind you of?
It reminded me of Dexter.
Oh,
did you ever?
Yes.
Did you ever watch it?
I didn't watch Dexter, but I saw like the ads all over the place on the billboards and everything. It always had the splatter marks.
Yeah, he was a blood splatter analyst, and guess where it was set? In Miami. So So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, Michael C. Hall, right?"
Yeah.
But obviously in green.
Somebody's going to need to look that up and see if that's the inspiration.
And you should watch that show because it's great.
Yeah. It was like 7 seasons.
Yeah. And I think there's like a prequel and then maybe another sequel that just came out recently. But any other ones you want to touch on?
I mean, no, not really.
No, not really, right? Yeah,
we
most of the good ones.
Those are the 3 main ones. So everybody else is kind of similar.
So let's talk about the Legos.
Yes.
And this is probably the race was good.
Let's be fair. I was surprised the race was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we had a sprint weekend, and the sprint race was actually entertaining.
It was a really good weekend.
Yeah.
But probably the best was the little Lego race in the parade.
Yes. So was actual Lego built cars. So complete Legos building a whole car. And then it was big enough to where both drivers could actually be on the car. So you had one driving the car and then the other sitting kind of behind him. So like Yuki was like telling Max to be careful because he's like baby Yuki back there.
Yeah.
So reference to, Max becoming a new dad. So he was helping him train, I guess, to be a father or something. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. But there were some other stuff like George Russell was concerned. He was commenting at the end of the race that that he may have offended Norris because he thinks he may have hit Norris's leg at some point and caused a little bit of a collision in the Lego cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some bumping out there and
a couple Legos got left.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racing incidents.
Yeah, some racing incidents. So possible punctures later. But yeah, these cars were actually drivable cars, had actual tires that were not made of Legos. And then it had I guess maybe an electric motor.
I'm sure something on them. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. They weren't flying around the track, but it was the little driver pre-race thing that they normally do. Yeah, pre-race parade. So I think it was probably the most fun that any of them have had on a pre-race parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth.
We also had, of course, Miami, lots of celebrities. We
Always
talked about
in
this.
Miami.
Yep.
Yeah. Place to see and be seen.
That's right. Ludacris was there.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall Jenner.
Yeah.
The Kardashians, of course.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be everywhere.
Yeah.
The Mahomes.
Yes. Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes and his wife. Yes. The Mahomies. Yes.
Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. Vin Diesel. Wasn't he there? I think he was.
I'm not sure. Vin Diesel.
I think so.
I feel like anywhere there's something super manly, he's going to try to be there.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Lisa from
Pink Black? Black
Pink?
Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry. Sometimes I get words flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Letters too.
And Gordon Ramsay, he had like a lemonade stand with
he always has like the, his chef thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he had a lemonade stand this time.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. And Timothee Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Yes. Chalamet. Yes.
Chalamet, exactly.
Timothy. Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
Paul Atreides.
Exactly.
Yes.
Bob
if you're
Dylan.
a Dune fan. Bob Dylan. Yes. More recent character for him.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's played in some other ones too. Pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's all right. Oh, wait a minute. I think he's dating Kendall Jenner. That's probably why they were. Yes, I think so. Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Could
things,
be.
But I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
All right, cool. And then another thing that happened this week, and Max Verstappen had a baby.
Yes, he did. He had an eventful week.
Yeah.
He bought a plane, sold a plane, sold his
nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his first jet, he had to sell that because he bought the new one. And jets, like if you're holding them on the tarmac or in the hangars, they get pretty expensive. So, but his new one's like it's larger.
Needs more space for the baby.
You got to have extra space for the baby, obviously.
The baby seat takes
yes.
more space.
Well, and you need your own baby room if you're going to have your own baby jet.
Right.
Right. So this is
right.
like graduated. It's not really a baby jet anymore. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's like a $50 million jet. The previous one he sold for like 14 million, something like that. But it's like kind of Red Bull colors too, which I was hoping it'd be like, Aston Martin green or Mercedes silver or something like that. So it'd be kind of fun. But I am curious though, because his baby was born on Media Day this week.
That's right.
Max hates Media Day.
Yeah, he planned it.
I mean, did they plan this?
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, just so he could
it's
get
not
out
a
of Media
conspiracy.
Day?
No, I mean,
9 months ago? I don't know. Comment and decide. No. Yeah.
I'm certain that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I'm certain that's exactly how he planned it. It all
Do you
went
think
down.
they planned it exactly to be like the baby must be? Is it an American citizen now? Like, how's that work?
I don't know.
Where was he born?
I don't know where the baby was
Yeah.
born. I'm not really sure on that. I didn't check. I was too interested in the plane and that he was flying from because he took off from like Nice. So I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Yeah, somebody does. Somebody will know and find out and let us know
right.
at some point.
Do you think Lily Verstappen will be an F1 Academy driver in the future?
Ooh. No,
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think any other Verstappens will be.
Yeah.
Could they be? Yes, but I don't know. Like when you look at some of the famous athletes across all sports,
Yeah.
most of the time, like they don't like if they're somebody in their lineage was like a superstar. Usually, the next one might make it into the league, but they're never anywhere close.
Right.
Now there are exceptions. Ken Griffey Jr.
I was going to say
to mind,
Ken
right?
Griffey Jr. That's
yeah.
right.
I mean, there's some other ones. Brett Hull, Bobby Hull, in hockey. If you're a hockey fan,
Right.
But they're few and far between. It just doesn't happen very
Right.
often.
Right.
So there's probably some others that I'm not thinking. Well, I'm sure there's others I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly, it could happen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. And I guess speaking of Max Verstappen, a little bit of a weird weekend for him, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, he misses media day, then he comes back, and then a sprint race weekend. So he has qualifying. Gets what, fourth-ish, somewhere in there.
Was fourth.
Yeah, it was fourth to
Ended
start with.
actually 17th.
Yeah, because of a penalty and
Right.
because of a safety car at the
Right.
end. But yeah, he had an unsafe release in the pit. Had a little bit of a accident there.
Right, with Kimi, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so sprint wasn't the best for him. Quali wasn't the best for him, but qualifying for the Grand Prix did very well.
Yeah.
And
It didn't do so bad in the Grand Prix. He kind of held up.
He held up through about, somewhere around 14 laps, and the Piastri passes somewhere around in there,
Yeah.
somewhere around 18, 20 laps, Norris passes him, somewhere in that range. And, I mean, after that, it just kind of dropped off for him.
Right.
He ends up fourth overall, but, I mean, like, not a close fourth.
No.
Fifth wasn't really close to him either.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just didn't have it after that.
Yeah, no. I think he was like
It was odd.
37-ish seconds.
Yeah, it was odd how much slow, like, because in quali, his car was much faster. His car was very fast in Sector 1. Sector 2 and 3, not as fast.
It's McLaren's race pace. It's just beyond.
They are, how dominant is McLaren?
And they're very dominant.
Like, how would you compare them? Because right now, like, Piastri's won 3 races in a row. It's like the first time that's happened in McLaren since 98.
Yeah.
So how dominant do you think that they are compared to Red Bull in 2023? Like, is McLaren just going to win it all? Like,
I think
1-2 the rest of the way?
I really think they can.
And it might be just with the last iteration of this car.
In 30 seconds. Like, how do you make that up?
Yeah, they beat Russell. Russell came in third today, and he was 30 seconds behind. Yeah, and they looked so fast whenever they were passing all these guys. Because Norris, on the start, he dropped back to fifth, sixth place, somewhere in there. And just picked him off right away.
He looked so much faster too.
Yeah, I don't think he was slump walking any on this race.
Well, no.
You think?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he won the sprint, so he was feeling pretty good. He was confident, and he did lose out pretty quickly in that first lap, right? The first corner. So maybe he was, but he came back roaring, and he's still close enough to be in contention. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's okay, but he's still kind of showing the same symptoms, right?
It's weird because he's still doing pretty good, but yeah, he just still kind of shows some of the symptoms. Like, he got a little whiny with Verstappen on turn one. Yeah, there are just some things that he seemed like he overcame some things during the race, but he's still growing.
Yeah.
Oscar, I think, is still growing too, which is somewhat frightening for the rest of the field.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah,
flawless so far.
Pretty much. I mean, he did lock up the tires a couple of times, but
but
it was kind of you had to
Yeah.
because he was pushing to pass Verstappen and then avoiding an accident another time.
He was pretty good too. Like, he gave him space.
Mhm.
He was he had the foresight to say, "Oh, this guy's gonna lock up." Sure enough, that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he overtook him. So, I'm happy for Piastri. I just think I think he's gonna take it.
I do too.
Yeah. So I know we've had this conversation, but I think he's looking unstoppable. He's got the momentum, and it's just he's got that tailwind, right? It's just pushing him.
Yeah, I think he stays ahead. I don't think Norris catches up with him. I might be wrong.
I don't think so. I think we're online. I think we're good. You know who's looking really good too?
Talk to me.
Kimmy Antonelli.
Oh yeah.
Wow. So
great weekend.
Amazing. Yeah, he got his first pole.
The sprint pole.
I mean, yeah, still.
But at the time, it was the record for the track.
That's amazing. Yeah, he did really good. Kind of screwed it up in the first.
Didn't make it out of turn 1.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I think it's just his experience showed in that moment. But for the most part, he's up there, and he's he's going to give Russell a run for his money, I think. So Russell looking pretty good.
Yeah,
consistently third.
Yeah.
Hey man.
I mean,
just,
what more,
if he's just quiet and just hitting those P3s constantly, like, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a great job. I mean, that car is actually, it seems like it's way better than the third place or fourth place car, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, McLaren's clearly the best car right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mercedes seems like they're number 2. Max Verstappen kind of washes that out a little bit. Like you look at the other, Red Bull, and you're
but then exactly you look at that other Red Bull. That other Red Bull's in 10th. Like I don't know that they're the second best car. They're probably like the 5th best car.
They're RB. Yeah,
Red Bull.
Yeah. So you think McLaren, Mercedes, and then Ferrari?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Williams is catching up?
Yeah, Williams right there.
Do you think Williams is better than RB on the car
and Red Bull?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's so skewed because of Max,
right?
But if it weren't Max, I would say yes.
Yeah,
I would say they're like right there.
How the mighty car has fallen.
Yeah, but the Williams looks great. I'm so happy for them. They have a great lineup, and also that was a little bit shaky today too.
Yeah,
I think they're starting to take their gloves off now. Albon kind of said, "Screw it with these team orders. I'm going to pass Sainz anyway."
Yeah,
and he showed really good pace, really good stuff. So, Sainz clearly was upset about it. He's like, "Oh, we're going to talk about this later."
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's going to see what the times were and be like, well, he did the right thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up 2-3 places behind. So. But I mean, Sainz, he just wasn't quite as fast today. I don't know what it was.
And he was behind Hamilton for a while, and then at the end tried to make a miracle move. Little Hail Mary didn't work out. No. Luckily, he didn't.
Almost knocked both of them out.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He could have easily knocked both of themselves or himself and Hamilton out. But, let's talk about Hamilton.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton, and Ferrari.
So
he had a very eventful day.
I think he gave us some gold. I mean, it was the Hamilton show, really, for the last half of the race.
Pretty much. I mean, the first half was a bunch of other people taking over and doing stuff. But Hamilton, I mean, radio gold today, though.
He really was. He took over. I mean, you're right. At the beginning, we had a bunch of excitement in the race. Whether it was McLaren's versus Red Bull, and all the other things that were happening, but then all of a sudden it's kind of the rain never came, and then it's just a Ferrari show.
Right,
they're like 7th and 8th, and they're going back and forth as in terms of they're very close. Leclerc's on hard tires, Hamilton's on mediums. They're both fairly fresh. Hamilton gets stuck behind Leclerc for a little bit. They're trying to get Antonelli, which is ahead of them, 5-6 seconds ahead of them. And they're just they're not necessarily faster than each other. Hamilton can't pass Leclerc on his own. He starts complaining to the radio, "Hey, are you going to let me by? Are you going to let me by?" And then, it takes them maybe 3 or 4 laps for them to say basically no. And then a lap later say, "Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's swap the positions." And then he does that, right? He passes Leclerc, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't execute.
Well, he can't execute because he's burned his tires up by then because they took too long.
I know.
It was funny. He responded back to him whenever they finally told him, and he was like, "Yeah, why don't you guys go ahead and have tea before you make your decision?" And then he passes him and he gets in front of him for a while.
He literally wanted to shake them. He's like,
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Then he's like, hey, I was a team player in China. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break here. And sure enough, he wasn't able to do anything. He had burned his tires out. They end up swapping positions again because now Leclerc's complaining that Hamilton's not necessarily faster.
Yeah.
And he wants some clean air. So they swap positions. And then shortly after, they're like, hey, Sainz is 1.4 seconds behind you. And he's like, oh, you want me to let him pass too?
It was so great.
Gosh, like I want to be in that debrief so
I know.
bad. Be a fly in a wall.
Yeah.
He's so upset. But this is Ferrari 101 for their pit wall. I mean, this is what they do. This is what they're good at. This is making problems for themselves.
Yeah. They did an excellent job at it today. They were spot on.
Yeah, for literally half the race.
Yeah. It was.
If it weren't for that, honestly, it would have been a dull.
The second half of the race would have been a little dull. Yeah, yeah. We thought it was going to get some rain and make it exciting. Rain dissipated. Yeah. So but they did make it interesting. And fortunately, for a little bit, I thought that Hamilton, because last week we were talking about, hey, is Hamilton ever going to finish in front of Leclerc in a Grand Prix this year? And I was like, oh, it's going to happen this weekend. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Said no.
I said fast enough. They're letting him go. It's going to happen. And then
I said no. It's going to be a couple years.
Yeah, you're still on for your prediction. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was all right.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised Hamilton finished because of Sainz at the end. But
dude, that was pretty close.
That was
he just
silly.
he beat him by like 0.8 of a second or something. I mean, it was a small margin, but it was a good race.
Yeah.
Overall, it was an entertaining race. Like there was always somebody trying to overtake somebody else. The announcers were extremely overhyped on everything.
Hyped.
It was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Good one overall. Yep.
Yeah. So Sainz and Albon, we talked about that. Williams, I mean, they're at I think 37 points overall. So, but they're, I still think Ferrari's a better car than there and a better team, but they're at moving on up.
Yeah,
man. I mean,
I know we're kind of excited.
I know,
right?
it makes for fun, especially throughout the whole race. They were right there. And they were, I think in qualifying too, it might have been in the sprint race, but Piastri was the fastest on the straights, and then Sainz and Albon.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, man.
Yeah.
They're getting there.
They are getting there.
It's not going to, I don't think they're going to improve too much more this year, but
still potential.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you have?
Let's see. I guess, we talked about Antonelli. Talked about him being young and doing that. One of the things that we didn't mention is that when do you think he's actually going to win a race?
Well, looking at how good he's been, I still don't think it's this year. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because McLaren's just way too good.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, they're just way too fast. I just don't see it happening unless it's a wet race or something and some miracle happens. But next year, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think out of all the team principals, obviously such a dominating performance by McLaren.
Yeah.
Zach Brown is head over heels, probably the happiest one.
Oh, for sure.
But outside of that, I think Toto has got to be the happiest team principal out there with the performance of Russell and with Antonelli.
Yeah.
Just I know that they expect Antonelli to do well, but they probably don't put the pressure on him and just kind of let it flow.
Yeah.
And he's letting it flow.
It's a resurgence for them, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while.
I know.
We forget that they used to win every race.
Right.
For 7 years straight.
Yeah. Now they're on their way back.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see him win anytime soon.
Well, yeah. But we'll see what they do in Emiliano Romana race.
Yeah, the Temple of Speed.
Next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are your predictions for then?
Ooh. I mean, Piastri and Norris and Russell. I don't really see it going another way. Verstappen might be able to sneak something in, but I don't know.
Well, I think that's incredibly rude because we're in Italy. So it's going to be Piastri, Norris, Leclerc.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Leclerc on the podium. I'd like to see him.
Why not?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good times. Good
All
times.
right. Well, that's all we have for you today.
I think it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment.
Follow us.
Follow us.
Yeah.
Do all the good things in all the platforms you can find us.
Yes. You know what to do.
We appreciate your support.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Daniel. Stay passionate, guys.